Engine mount. Check. Oh boy. When the truck fell down off the jacks, the dent in my door. Yep. Put it on the softwood and it collapsed, tipped over. Because I did have it lined up parallel with the building, and now it's perfect. Now it's still parallel, but at an angle. Blah, 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 blah. See? Jack post sunk into the softwood. And got a bit of an angle here, a bit of slope, let the water drain into the yard, and down it went. So, lower the jack gently. Let's see, what's your view here? Oh yeah, you got a view. I'll let her down before she falls over. I got it up top. Softwood again. Yeah. Down to the ground, and of course I got the emergency brake off so it could roll, and then I could roll into my other T-Ruck. I don't like parking pawls, I like emergency brakes, so clunk. Somebody asked me about starters. Mr. 1996 Suburban. Oh, Christmas music. Give me a freaking break. Heard enough. One song. 1996 Suburbans asked me about starters. He's got a 400 small block in his 86 Suburban. I don't know. I don't have any starters here really to show you anything on, so yeah. Boy, starters. I could go on and on and on. Seeing as I only have 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. This is a heavy-duty starter because it's got the spacer. See? The long solenoid with a spacer, but it's the light-duty version of the heavy-duty because the armature only goes to here. There's another version of this where the armature goes out longer. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. This has got the short solenoid. Don't be fooled. But you see how the case is longer? Let's put them one above the other. We'll see the comparison. There. Got another 3/4 of an inch of case. There's a million different models of these starters. But obviously the heavier duty one you buy, the better off you are. Because it'll just spin with that much less power. There's a shorty. Let's put it up against this one. See what it compares. Maybe it's the same one. But you see this sort of dead area here, you'd call it. When the case extends further, that's your heavier duty one. Go to your flap. Friendly Local Auto Parts. There's another one. I used to have lots of heavy duty ones. Who knows where they are? Got too much junk. Go to your Friendly Local Auto Part flap and just open boxes. So you find one that's got the longest. There we go. See, the housing is longer. This area here between my gloved finger. 1/2 inch longer. Field coils. Starter drives. You can bend the starter drives. Here is, let's put the camera on my waste oil furnace. Here's a starter drive. It turns one way, but not the other. If it's tight in the direction that it turns, it's in good shape. But the little one-way clutches, dog clutches inside, or whatever you want to call them. So this is a heavy-duty 5-roller made in Chile or China or Brazil or wherever. When those little rollers inside break down, they wear out. It'll go zing, or it'll grind the flywheel, or do a variety of nasty noises. Here's a made in China solenoid. All right, I have to delete some memory, and we'll come back in a minute, and I'll show you what a broken starter drive looks like. Pile of junk, huh? So, starter drives, shift forks. Shift forks all look like this, more or less. This is a made-in-China piece of junk, and they break. I've actually taken apart starters, and one of the arms is broken off. Don't ask me, never had that problem with a made-in-USA one. But what happens is, this is a Corvair starter, but they're all the same. The solenoid pulls this plunger, and it see? That pushes the starter drive into the flywheel, because what he's having is a problem of his starter grinding on the flywheel unless he crawls underneath it. and spins the engine by hand to a better spot on the flywheel. So his flywheel could be cracked, sent him a bunch of links. Flywheel could be cracked and warped, but there's the drive. This one's in good shape, it's nice and tight. And the solenoid pulls out the shift fork, which shoots this forward. Now, what you can do is you can heat these up with an oxyacetylene torch if you're brave enough. If you have oxyacetylene torches, and you can adjust them so it shoots this further forward. There is a specification in the GM shop manuals. That gap there, I think, is 30 thousandths to 120, and 120 is about 1/8 of an inch, I think. So if you just energize solenoid, if you energize the one closest to the block, I think it says S, I don't remember. Yeah, it's this one. It'll just shoot the solenoid forward. If someone's doing that in the truck, or you got a jumper wire underneath, you can shoot the solenoid forward and see where the drive ends up in the flywheel, how the engagement is. Is it just touching on the edge? And if the flywheel's got a slight warp to it, maybe it's catching some good teeth or whatever the situation is. So you can bend the shift forks, but you've got to use an oxyacetylene torch to bend them 1/8 of an inch, so this thing shoots out further to there instead of maybe there. There's also different flywheels. On the 400, it used a 163 tooth or a 153 tooth. Don't ask me. I don't know that much about it. There's also differences. This is not a Corvair starter. This is a starter from a metric GM, like a 229. Shift forks. And some GMs, some Chevys, use the bolts opposed, like that. Some use them diagonal. This is a short and a long bolt. Long on the left, short on the right. And some Chevy starters, the ones I'm more familiar with, use diagonal bolts like the diesels. You've got two long diagonal bolts as opposed to one short, one long. There's a variety. And this is more going back towards the 70s. What else we got here? Another light-duty GM so-called metric starter. Bolts are opposed. One's long, one's short. Well, this is more newer stuff. There's two long ones, diagonal. They're probably all the same. They're friggin' heavy too. Diagonal. Two long bolts. There's also Chevy ones and Pontiac ones, and Olds mounts on the other side of the engine, so those don't work at all. The nose is different. So you got some homework to do, Mr. 1996 Suburban. Figure out Corvair mounts like a Chrysler. Bolts go parallel. More Corvair, more Corvair. Lots of starters. More Corvair starters. I bought a bunch when I was in California. You got to figure out what the problem is. Cracked flywheel. Maybe the drive is bad. I don't know. I don't think it's bad if it does catch when you turn the engine by hand. Maybe the shift fork is worn or cracked. Got a little crappy circlip that holds the pin in. A lot of little things to look at. Then you go buy those crappy starters at the flat for the local auto parts for 20, 30, 40 bucks, and made in Mexico. A lot of junk parts inside. Maybe it pays to buy one for $100 if you have the money. That's our lesson for today. Gonna hire a guy, get some more junk cleaned up here, and build some shelves against that far wall. Thanks for looking. Hope I